Die My Love. I had a chance to do this the other day and had my written review posted on 4timefilmschooldropout.blog and had all intentions of recording this video a couple days ago, but just kind of fell behind, and so here we are. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to never miss a video. We have daily film content, including movie reviews, movie news, and so much more. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button to never miss a video. So for today, we are talking about the new film, Die My Love, starring Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson. And if you haven't seen any trailers or anything for this film, you're not alone. I honestly didn't see anything for this film until I was on Blue Sky, and I saw somebody post like a 6 or 7 second clip of it, saying how, it was one of the most anticipated films of the year, how they were so excited to see it. And then I watched the couple second clip, and that looks really good. I'm definitely going to add this to my watch list. And going in, I went in pretty much completely blind, had no real idea of what I was getting myself into. Within the first 90 seconds of the movie, I knew I was in for something. I just wasn't sure what. Because the entire film, it just had this off-kilter feel. They shot the opening sequence in a 4.3 ratio shot, which for layman's terms pretty much means the shot is like this, and everything on the ends is completely blacked out. So you have a very narrow visual, and all this like just black on the sides, which gives a very claustrophobic feel, which was 100% intentional. And you can kind of tell this wasn't, well, it was intentional, but also through the entire film, they have these intentional kind of techniques that give us this different kind of emotion. Like that, of course, was to give us a sense of claustrophobia and this restriction, while these other techniques were there to use to give us this sense of unreliable narrative, where you have these really weird sense of color grading and, just different kind of cinematography and score, and just this really out of line, out of, cohesiveness in the storytelling and in the tone, which kind of gives us the illusion or the interpretation that this is not a reliable narrative. A lot like in Domino, how the way the movie shot. Remember the movie Domino with Keira Knightley? The entire movie they're on drugs pretty much the entire time she's telling the story, so it's not a reliable narrative. And you kind of have these moments that indicate that she's not in her right mind, and everything's kind of blurred together. We don't know exactly what happened and how it happened, and it kind of leads to a alternative that is not exactly 100% not believable, but 100% to be true. And that's the same kind of thing here. We have a lot of shots and a lot of sequences that aren't 100% coherent. They're very much in these times of deep postpartum depression, along with these other issues she's having, and it's very, very clear that she's not in her right mind, and she's not in her right state of thought. That kind of indicates it's not a very coherent moment, so we don't know if it's happening the way we are believed, or we're being told to believe it's happening, which creates an unreliable narrative. So the entire film plays out this way, so it kind of gives a very high art concept. And they try to sell it, I guess, to the masses with, putting Robert Pattinson and Jennifer Lawrence in the film, two actors who have a lot of tentpole films and kind of are better known for their A-list movies like Twilight and The Hunger Games, and they kind of come together doing this really, really high art concept, dystopian like film, and it's completely like out there. I can foresee a lot of people going into the theater, seeing this movie, and walking out, which I've actually heard a lot of people have done that, just because of how weird and bonky it is. Like in the first 90 seconds of this movie, there is a very strange and unusual mating scene or sex scene that is completely just out there, and it also has this really heavy metal kind of rock and roll undertone score, or just kind of music in the score, which really is just high octane, and then the cut, and it's definitely out there in a really strange and kind of great way. I'm not gonna lie, the whole entire movie felt kind of off kilter, and they have your original narrative is about postpartum depression and this really serious issue a lot of mothers go through postpartum. And, I really kind of relate to that in a sense, not because my mother, but my wife just had our second child, and I have 2 under 2, so I kind of understand the workings of that top layer of, a newborn baby, the stress and pressure it puts on the parents, and the pressure it puts on, the relationship and everything like that. I understand. I kind of relate to that in a sense where I kind of understood. And I'll be honest, if I saw this film a few years ago before having kids, I probably would have thought it was very, over the top and exaggerated to try to save a film's narrative that really wasn't there to begin with. But since having kids, I kind of understand and relate to a lot of the issues that they were having in the film. Or understand some of the problems they were having, and just the lack of sleep, the pressure of everything, and just this how everything in your whole life and your dynamic changes. And that's kind of like your top layer, but there's also other layers to this film. And on your first viewing, you're not gonna really get and understand everything that happens or everything that the film is trying to tell you. I definitely felt like leaving the theater that there was more to the film, and I would need a second or third viewing to really understand every subliminal message that was kind of being portrayed in this film, because there's so much packed into it. And again, the incoherent storytelling narrative makes it a challenge to really be able to understand and fully grasp everything that's kind of happening. So with that being said, I can't recommend this film for most people because, again, it's not a traditional style of storytelling. It's not a traditional film. It's very much a high concept dystopian art film that is going to be a niche to a few. However, I did really enjoy this film, and I will say that this is, if you're definitely worth checking out on streaming. I can't go any higher than that simply because I don't think most people are going to like this movie. A lot of people probably walk out of this film because it's not a traditional sense of storytelling. It's very incoherent, and it's all over the place. But in the best possible way. If you like art house films, if you like them obscure films that are, play with the logic of storytelling and, just different techniques to try to create something new and different in a very strange and unusual way, you might like this film a lot. I mean, personally, like I said, I really enjoyed this film, and I think it would need a second or third watch to really understand everything that was going on just because of the way it was executed. But again, I can't recommend this for the masses. I'm going to say stream it just because I feel like if you stream it, you're not going to feel like you wasted your money on it because, again, from what I've heard, a lot of people walked out, and I can see that because, again, this movie is very incoherent, inconsistent, and all over the place. As far as the color grading, cinematography, in a technical standpoint, they break all the rules and they use it masterfully to kind of give you this incoherent art house film that kind of works, but at the same time, it's a niche that it's going to appeal to. So with that being said, definitely wait for streaming for this one. I would not recommend going and seeing this in theaters. Check out my written review at 4timefilmschool.dropout.blog, where I go into a little more deeper review and give a more better explanation of the concepts and how I kind of related to it, liked it, and why I think this is a really great niche film and not so much a mainstream film. As always, thanks for watching, and comment below and let me know what are your thoughts. Have you seen Die My Love? Are you going to?